Poodle, is someone at the door? It's Southern Charm.
Michael, it's time for my medicine.
Come and listen to a podcast hosted by some queens, talking about folks living way above their means. They all live in Charleston where the booze is always flowing,
and we know too much about them all because of Andy Cohen.
Bravo, that is. Southern Charm. Sweet tea.
Well, Cameron is the sweetest,
And Austen is a tool.
Shep can be a jerk,
But Chelsea's really cool.
Craig is playing lawyer.
Eliza's playing games. There's a lot of other blonde girls. We forget their names. Madison,
Heather Lynn,
Skimbleshanks.
It's Sweet Tea, the unauthorized Southern Charm podcast.
We can't go on in there with suspicious birds. We built our dream together with suspicious birds. You're caught in a trap. You kept her cat. Because I love you too much, baby.
We don't know the words to that song, but be sure to watch Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, who's
sponsored.
No, they're not sponsoring this podcast.
They're not.
Don't. But
People, I had a
I don't know if I want to see that movie or not.
I had a high school friend, acquaintance.
Okay.
I don't
know what that means for you. Do you mean acquaintance, like somebody you don't know well, or somebody from high school you fucked?
She's not my friend.
Okay. Okay.
I keep her on my list to remind me of what life was like there.
So you don't ever want to like move back?
Yes, and because it's a source of entertainment.
I get that. I have those friends.
Yeah. So she posted or reposted something that someone who left the Elvis movie because they took the Lord's name in vain. And especially a man like Tom Hanks, who they've liked every movie he's ever made.
Wow.
And then they're encouraging people not to see it now.
Wow.
You know, we got so many problems in this country.
Wow.
It's just like, God, what you must...
Get off the cross. We need the wood.
She's probably had a lot of problems with that statement.
So is Elvis already out?
Yeah.
Oh. Is it getting good reviews? I don't know.
It's all over the place.
He just looks hot.
He's getting good reviews.
All right.
The movie is getting okay to bad reviews.
Y'all, this is Southern Charm, but we're going to talk about Elvis a little bit because it's more interesting than this episode. I will say I want to see the movie because, and the episode's called Suspicious Minds, episode 2 to season 8.
I have no inclination to see the film.
The only reason I kind of would want to see it is, have you been to Graceland?
I have not.
I think as a musician,
Yep.
and you're way more of a musician than I am, but even like the little bit that I have, and just as a person, I was overwhelmed with how much and what he did, and we know about it, but we didn't grow up in it.
Yeah.
And so
actually, my mom was a big fan, so I did grow up in it.
We should take your mother.
I was born.
I was born
like 2 days after Elvis died.
Oh, wow. Your name could have been Elvis.
It could have been. Like EJ on Days of Our Lives, Elvis Jr.
God, he was hot. Is it still the British one who's there? Or is it a different one?
He's come back from the dead several times, and now it's a new actor, of course. I will say, for some reason, just talking about soap operas, for some reason, my TiVo was stuck on Korean soap operas. I couldn't change it.
Oh.
And I just sat there for like 30 minutes and watched it. And I remember when I was in China, there was nothing to watch at night. A lot of times, especially when we'd be in at night. Mm-hmm. And I was watching Korean soap operas. And after a while, you kind of, even though I did not speak Korean, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I don't speak Korean.
No.
Not a word. But bulgogi.
What's that mean?
That's
bulgogi?
Like bulgogi place, like a meat.
Oh,
beef.
okay. Not familiar.
Come on, you've had Korean food.
I have, but not bulgogi.
You have. You just don't know it.
Oh, okay.
And if you've been Korea barbecue, you've had bulgogi.
Okay, then I've had it. Yes.
Yeah, or like bibimbap.
I've had bibimbap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's offensive. I can only speak Korean and know the food, but anyway, you could, after a while, they communicated where they were by their clothes and their facial expressions, and you understood this. And I was watching it one time. She's like, she's faking that pregnancy. And I got invested in this one that came in on like Channel 4. It was all across China. They show Korean soap operas.
So they're a big thing there.
Oh, they're a big thing in all of Asia.
Really? So they're just not in the U.S. anymore.
People. You mean soap operas?
Yeah.
People. The Koreans watch them here. But yeah, soap opera. Well, for us, soaps are nightly things. There's like,
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So they are over there too, but they still consider them soap operas. It's the same kind of plots, but there was one reaction that I always loved from the person that would go, "Oh." So I started doing that in China. Oh, when something would go wrong. Oh.
Where are we?
I don't know.
What happened?
Anyway,
go to Graceland. You see the.
Where are we? I agree.
You see the amount of Elvis's work, and as a musician, it's moving. Okay, I will say.
I will take a trip.
Take your mother.
Next time we go to Memphis.
Let's invite Mother Poodle and let's hear that story.
She was a big Elvis fan.
Ooh.
She said, "Don't like fat Elvis though." Take that as you mean it.
I'm sure
That's
we have a lot.
quote.
What are Elvis fans called? Elvers?
I think they're just called
Elfheads?
People who lived in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, boomers.
Everyone was.
Anyway, y'all come at us.
My father said, friend, I really never liked him.
You know who was a big Elvis friend? Was Heather Harris. Heather Harris. She came as Halloween one year dressed up as him.
That's a little strange because...
generationally,
she
looked like Elvis.
Stop it!
No, because she had the dark hair and she kind of has the nose like. And her mother, Mrs. Harris. Mrs. Harris was a singer. I don't know if I told you, Mrs. Harris studied opera and went to school at Southeastern with Reba McEntire. So Poodle's just looking at his nails, y'all.
I'm just waiting for you to finish.
Anyway, though, but she was in Elvis too, and so Heather Harris talked about how the sexiest man to her would be somebody like Elvis, and we never understood it. And she would sing "Love Me Tender" or it's some type of Elvis show at all the talent shows, but she would sing it like Elvis.
I feel like there's a Welcome to the Dollhouse style film to be made about Heather Harris Horn.
Maybe. Well, it's not Horn anymore. He died, but I think it's now Heather Harris something.
The trucker who is into cross-dressing?
She is her ex-trucker. He was into cross-dressing. She messaged me about it.
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't speak about it publicly, but he's dead. So I think it's okay now. But
I don't think she listens to the pod either.
I should show you the video because she said we did a version of Cinderella in middle school. I think I told you this.
And the songs, you could not use the other songs.
No, it wasn't Rodgers and Hammerstein. It was written by somebody named like Gary and Sheila, and it cost like $5 to get the rights.
It was Schwartz and Dupart.
Yeah, like there was a talking dog named Spot. Stop
it!
It was, yeah.
This must have only been in Oklahoma.
But Heather Harris played the role of the fairy godmother, and so her song was very vampy.
You've told me this, but
I didn't ever told you she tried. She told me she imagined being Elvis. So the way she sang it was very like,
I'm the fairy godmother from fairyland. I work for the great fairy queen. And she would go,
She embodied, and she wore like this satin dress. And when we left, my mom's dad said, "Man, who was that teacher playing the godmother?" And I said, "Grandpa." I said, "No, Dad or Grandpa, that was Heather Harris, my classmate." Well, good God, she's got a womanly body. I thought it was a 40-year-old woman. Almost hit on her.
She's got a womanly body.
She did, though.
We have to move on. I am begging you, please.
I didn't expect to go here.
Can't. I really should not have went into Korean soap operas.
It was your fault.
It is my fault. I will admit that.
Yeah. My grandpa watched it just went, oh.
So, this is Southern Charm. Did we mention? How far are we in?
9 minutes.
God, I will say, I'll tell you why this episode kind of made me worried a little bit that I'm already a little checked out.
Okay.
Because something kind of hit me why I was having so many problems caring about the storyline. That, especially, number one, the two storylines that are happening here kind of concurrently are the shame game that's happening with Craig and Naomie by the entire cast who can't stop talking about it.
Yes.
Can't stop talking about it. That's a great Betty Hutton song. You know what?
I don't.
Never mind. Again, I have to keep moving. Even I'm distracted. Wish she was yours. Betty Hutton, y'all. Check out Betty Hutton. Although she got really crazy in her older age, but
Everybody is really into this. I feel like you're going to be angry at me when I say this.
I'm already angry at you.
By the way, announcements, y'all. Come see us live. Go to our Linktree links. By the way, Ronnie from Watch What Crappens is
Austen Show.
It's going to be our guest on the Austen Show.
And the Reens from Pig Royalty are going to be there, too.
We got to email them. But
what if they say, sorry, we can't
just
come.
Cam now.
We just had a baby.
We just had a baby.
Or Cammy just had a baby.
But no, Ronnie is going to be on our Austen live show, and we are gonna be watching Southern Charm until then because Ronnie's going to be talking about it with us.
That's true.
So
I have to watch it at least until then.
So I think I'm okay to. But anyway, come see us. Go to website's down again. We're getting hacked.
But look at our Linktree.
Go
on
to our
Insta.
Linktree link on our Instagram. There you go.
You said I was angry about something.
I said, So I haven't seen Stranger Things yet. I haven't seen season 4 yet.
I haven't
watched
either.
Any of them.
I'm behind.
But everybody keeps talking about like this resurgence of and playing like Kate Bush music. Who's Kate Bush?
You are trying. First of all, you know who Kate Bush is. You're trying to wind me up.
No, but I don't. What does she sing? I don't know what she sings.
Are you dead serious right now?
I swear to God, I don't know who.
Swear on your.
I swear on my nephews, I don't know what songs are associated with Kate Bush.
Where's my knife? What can I throw that will cause the most pain possible to your person?
And people keep showing pictures. I'm like, who's that? And then they said that's
She's
Kate
a
Bush.
fantastic British singer-songwriter.
Was she famous
Yes.
in the 80s?
Yes.
Okay.
And the 90s.
Did she
But she's
sing
been
songs I know?
underground. No, you won't know any of them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The most famous one is Running Up That Hill but if you were a little queerling like me, some hot guy you dated was obsessed with Kate Bush, and then you became obsessed with Kate Bush as well.
Oh.
And like Hounds of Love is a big song. She did the duet. If you remember Peter Gabriel, Don't Give Up. Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. You don't give up.
I think I remember
Yeah,
that.
that's Kate Bush. She has this crazy range.
Really?
Yeah, this like high all the way down to low.
Well, I'm glad I brought it because maybe other people don't know and they can discover her. We'll discover her together, y'all.
No, the world at large knows. The funniest thing is her single Running Up That Hill shot up the charts, and people were like, "Who is this Kate Bush?"
I thought she was related to
only
like
someone
Sophia or the
No.
woman who's on today, who's related to George
She
Bush,
is not.
Laura, or the daughter.
I was going to say that is his daughter, not a woman who's related to him. It's a pretty close relationship. No, if you don't know Kate Bush, I would definitely recommend you get at least the greatest hits and go into that. But I had a place in my probably my late 20s where I went nuts for her.
Okay.
It's a really great album called Ariel, too.
I think you're going to like then Stranger Things 4 because I think they use her a lot as the soundtrack of the show.
I just know they're using Running Up That Hill.
I
I
think they're using more, but I could be wrong.
No,
I could be misspeaking.
It has happened before.
Anyway. Okay.
Thank you for making me angry.
Why are you worried about this season?
Besides the Craig and Naomie thing that we can't stop talking about this.
Yep.
It's the Venita, Kathryn, Leva, Caleb, why can't we be friends with everybody? The thing about this is, y'all, last season, if we still think, let me posit something. If we called Kathryn out for obviously racist language, racist things she'd said, and things like that. if we're not content that she has apologized for that and moved on, why are we still
hanging out with her?
And if we do not think that, why is she still on the show and why was she not fired?
Yeah.
That's what hit me this morning. And that's why it feels like we're going through the same motions. And it seems like, sadly, Venita has been tasked with being the one person who's there to remind the cast about that.
It does feel like that.
And it's like, and I liked a lot of what Venita had to do. And then Venita jumped down Olivia's throat later on. It's like, because she mentioned Kathryn. And it's like, why are we still doing this? If we still think she is still going to say racist things and unrepentant, fire her.
Yeah, I agree. Agreed. It just feels like, it really just feels like, Jake and I we try not to cover a lot of reality shows where it's clear that people are being paid to be friends because that feels inauthentic. It's why we don't do a lot of housewife shows, because clearly a lot of them are not friends. They're cast.
At least that is rooted in a comedy sometimes, though.
Yes, like Salt Lake, none of them are friends.
No, but they're
it's
all
kind of
funny and weird.
And they're all fucking clowns, and they're dealing with religion, and so that's interesting. And I know that that's happened in other housewives as well. But it's also like why, like, Selling Sunset, they're not friends, but there's like a total camp ridiculousness to it.
Yeah.
So there needs to be that extreme for us to kind of be on board.
If there's not authenticity,
it's all being played real, but it's so clear that none of them are friends anymore.
Yes.
And none of them want to be around each other anymore. Full stop.
Right.
So it's kind of like, then why are we here just to cash a check?
I don't believe that Austen and Craig really are friends anymore. I think, as apparently on the show, they still have their podcast together, but I think they're doing it just to make
money.
A check. I don't believe Shep is friends with Craig anymore.
No.
And
I don't even think Shep's really friends with Austen anymore. No. He's with Taylor.
It's hard to parse the relationship and why Caleb would want to be friends with anybody, would want to make sure that Kathryn was friends with all these people, unless that's his problem.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's kind of jump. So it starts. Shep is talking to Taylor, just kind of about, again, he sets the seed, talking about Craig and Naomie in Vegas. I hope I hope they put a pin in this and move on from this. Like, maybe this is the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then it's like we have a moment we kind of almost did here between Craig and Naomie where they're like, we're fine with our relationship, but no one else is, and we just move on from it and then have other plot lines. But I'm worried that's not going to happen.
My thing here is, I understand that we can talk about something that's salacious, but it seems weird that these people, everything seems personal to Shep and Austen. The fact that Naomie and...
It's not about Naomie. It's that they feel scandalized or they feel hurt, because, again, they're men, so they can't say that hurt my feelings, that Craig didn't tell them this.
And it seems like the only woman who's really interested in this is Leva, because she likes to stir up shit.
God, she looked good this episode, though.
She did.
Got new hair or something. It looks amazing on her.
I lose patience with her. I just think she is there just to poke the bear.
I think she's friends with, like, Naomie, and that's it.
Yeah, but it's like, no one else really cares except for those 2 men who were butthurt that they didn't hear stories about Craig banging Naomie and how many times it was.
And they can high five and laugh about it and then go talk shit about him.
And like Austen, who just told Madison everything about it.
Yeah. It was so Madison. But it goes to show there's not a lot there because, again, y'all, the company you keep is so interesting because obviously we went harder on Paige and Summerhouse. However, in Southern Charm,
She seems absolutely lovely.
She's just so much more of an adult about
Yeah.
things than they are, and not in this kind of incestuous world.
Right.
So she's talking to Craig, and she says, Paige says, yeah, I talk to Naomie a lot. And Paige says something that's so smart, and it's so true. She said, it would be more of, she said, I'm fine that y'all are friends. It would be more of a red flag to me if you couldn't talk to her, because that means there's something there.
It's healthy to, especially they were together for 3 or 4 years, or maybe
Yeah.
5 years. Now they're actually starting to, had a really bad breakup. They're actually starting to move on from that. That seems like both of them are starting to be healthier mentally.
Yes. And Paige is right, because we see it. Remember last episode, Madison came to that party, and Austen completely freaked out.
Right.
And was so bothered. Instead of being like, oh, Madison's here. He clearly is not over her.
Question: do you have a hard time, like, not screaming insults at the television almost every time that Austen is on? I can't stand him anymore. I'm just repulsed by him. It's really interesting.
I'm not repulsed by him, but I just, I think
I wasn't there before. That's what I'm saying.
I kind of feel the same way about him, not as much with Shep, but both of them, they both make me kind of sick to my stomach in that, because what is happening, the undercore of this is the three of them were in a dysfunctional pattern. Craig is breaking the dysfunctional pattern,
Right.
and saying the behavior that you used to do is not okay for me anymore.
Yeah.
And the other two basically haven't grown as people for like the last 5 years on this show.
I agree with you.
So that makes me, I agree with you though. I see Austen and I'm just kind of like, I am tired of you just playing this, I didn't know any better. I'm
Right.
this dumb guy, Austen, and just not taking any responsibility
it
for
was
life.
what we saw about him in Southern. I just realized, it was Summer House. This completely, like, now I'm seeing him in his environment.
But I get, because I went hard for him on Summer. Remember, he triggered me that way on
Right.
Summer House. So I think you're just, and that was a big trigger, was just this person is, why are they taking up space on the planet when they're
Right.
not choosing to just like, and also too, I think we're seeing now that Craig is distancing himself from the relationship. We're seeing an even grosser underside of Austen we've never seen before.
Agreed. What do you think about Caleb's conversation with his mother?
So here's the thing.
that felt real.
It felt real. It was funny. I do think it's a little weird that his mom's like, I was surprised that his mother was like, kind of could see Kathryn's point and said, let me talk to her. The thing that I thought was a missed opportunity is if a woman, we're going to go back to this. If a woman has racist behavior and then gets in a relationship with a black man, I'm interested in seeing that.
Right.
I'm interested in, and the fact that Kayla said, well, we had this fight, and then they go back to barely even showing us the fight. They just show like snippets of a flashback.
No,
and
it was annoying. I wrote
but yet
that down
we spend
too.
all this time on Naomie and Craig, and I go, oh, so that's going to be the plot line you're pushing is Naomie and Craig, where I just think it's a missed opportunity of a show that honestly needs to do better and be more inclusive of black people when they haven't done a good job of it, and then had somebody in their cast who was racist. If you want to do a good job, show actual, kind of I think what you're responding with Venita, show actual stories of black people in an authentic interaction with people, instead of having them and come and be
teachers,
the black teacher,
educators,
to quote,
that's
educate
what it
people.
feels like.
That's what it feels like.
And it feels like that's what Venita
For Caleb,
is on.
Venita for sure, and even a little bit of Caleb.
I agree.
Like, I bet you, y'all, there are no black people on this upper level production team of this show.
I think you're probably right. But that's why it gets to me that we feel like when we have a story arc, you guys, and this is not reality. Life doesn't work like this, but reality TV does. When we have a story arc where someone either apologizes for something and everyone sits at a table and someone says, "I'll do better," we assume that's the end or that person's fired.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was back with a black man and now we are still here.
Who we still have not heard him comment on what his opinion about that was.
That is true. And we are obsessed with, he seems to be obsessed with his relationship with his and Kathryn's relationship with Venita.
Or
It's
just
weird.
people. It almost feel like, so they show a little bit of the fight, and he basically says, like, I'm friends with a lot of people, and all my friends say you're the problem. And I wanted to say, Caleb, why do all your friends say that she's the problem?
And why don't you listen to your
'cause
friends?
A lot of your friends are, because we've seen him invite his friends at that party. Several of his friends are black, and they're
Right.
probably like, bro, your girlfriend's racist.
Right.
And or whatever that is, or maybe it's not. It's not good that we're having to fill in the puzzle pieces of why people say that about
Right.
Kathryn.
Well, I think the better problem with Caleb is his. I like everybody, and you don't like anybody, and I want everybody to get along. I'm like, that's your problem.
That's very
You
reductive.
might want to process
That's
that.
very reductive. Yeah, that's very like everything's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I when he says to Kathryn, you don't like anybody, I'm like, present.
She,
I don't either.
and Kathryn really doesn't like anybody.
No.
And I agree that, like, probably, like he's telling his mom, Kathryn only wants me to spend time with other people when she has nothing to do. I'm like, yeah. Because she's a fucking narcissist. Welcome to being in a relationship with a narcissist.
I'm not sure why he's surprised by that.
Like, you could have watched all the seasons of this show.
Yeah.
She's a diagnosable narcissist.
And the way he says, I love how she commands a room when she walks in. I love how the way she's just a star. And I'm thinking,
And she's a little bad girl.
Yeah.
That means she does stuff in the butt.
but like the thing is, you knew what you were getting.
It made me go, oh man, are you in love with Kathryn the persona
Yeah.
and the celebrity
100%.
and not Kathryn as a person?
So the next thing, we see a little bit of Venita talking about having 175 dresses and why she dressed up. This is also a problem when you have someone who on a reality show who is an influencer. It feels a little bit like they're only there to
She
be
only
there.
has like 80,000 fans.
But I'm
but
saying
her Instagram is so, quote, perfectly, most boring. It's very
I believe that.
curated.
I'm having the problem with someone who's an influencer being on a reality show. Let me offer you an example that works. Someone like Jamie on Bling Empire. Because Jamie's like, I don't know, I just make content. I'm just trying to do what I need to do. And it shows her making that content.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
But what Venita did, she kind of says something like, it's such a weird life. I just kind of fell into it, blah, blah, blah. And I just written, I'm tired of this. I'm tired
it's
of
uninteresting. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, cut anybody producing a reality show. Somebody saying that they're an influencer is not new or novel. It's not something it's not something that makes an audience
It's eye rolling.
Well, it's not. We don't, as an audience, we don't lean in anymore.
No.
Because all of us know all about that life now. And so
And
it's just kind of like,
And you're curating a life which takes down your authenticity level.
because it makes us think like, what's real for you?
Exactly.
What's not.
So I'm saying take that out of the storyline entirely. I didn't need that. Mm-hmm. Of course I know she's an influencer. Do I need to be reminded about what she loves about being an influencer? It's gross. It's like that is the we talk about reality shows, but at least there is a leaning towards authenticity for all of them. We want to find out what's real, even though it's not. This isn't.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It
so
feels that way.
I just felt that's why there's so many missteps in this season.
I agree. Anyway,
Anyway, let's talk about Austen.
Austen and Leva. And so they're talking on the phone, and I like that Austin's like, "Hey, so I called you. I
called you to talk about
want to talk
accounts."
about Throb Hop," and she completely like, I don't know, in her head, she's like, "Yeah, I'm not selling that," but she just said, "Oh, I thought you were gonna call the party." So they talk about Olivia. I actually like Olivia. I'm here for more Olivia. I'm here for more Olivia's
different
parents.
person. Yeah,
I think I'm just here for it. That's maybe why I want to see Caleb more too.
Yeah.
I'm just here for different people.
I'm so exhausted by the current cast and their similar
I
dynamics.
don't mind seeing Naomie because she's been gone for a while. But at this point,
She doesn't do a lot for me personally.
But at this point, y'all, bring back Landon. Let's blow it up. Just blow it up.
Dare say that.
Oh my God. And Landon.
Bring back Landon.
Thomas.
You know what? At least
Landon dates John Pringle. Calling it.
never. She will never get her hands on my Pringle. Once you pop, you can't stop, y'all. If that ever happened, I would go down to Charleston myself and do an intervention. I can't say it. An intervention. Speaking of, Intervention is back, and they had a two-parter on an entire family who was addicted to fentanyl.
What channel?
A&E, where have you been?
I didn't know addiction. Is it the same people?
Yes. The show never really went away.
Oh, it just like took a couple years off.
No, it's been on.
Oh, I thought it took a hiatus.
No, it's still good. An entire family.
My cable's messed up, so I don't get suggestions like I used to anymore. I don't know.
Like, we're talking living in one studio apartment.
It doesn't make...
Mother, daughter, two sons, and the boyfriend. The dog had the pipe on.
Wow. Woo, woo.
It was...
I can't see. I think TiVo's going out of business. My TiVo's not working very well anymore.
No, it's a bunch of squirrels running it right now.
And other DVRs aren't good because that is, if you don't know, that was the beauty of TiVo, is TiVo would learn you and then it would suggest a show and said, hey,
maybe
I think you might like this show called Intervention with this woman huffing air cleaner cans. And you go, I don't want to watch this, but TiVo suggested it. How many shows did you find from a TiVo suggestion?
So many.
No other DVR does that.
I feel like I'm flying.
The Netflix suggestions suck.
They do. Anyway,
they just talk about Vegas. Levis says, I was there in Vegas. And
we also find out that that Olivia's parents are investors in her restaurant group.
Yeah.
So it's another layer of incestuous behavior in Charleston.
which you've said is Charleston.
It's Charleston, yeah.
But she says, like, Olivia's great, and Austin's like, I know. She's, like, beautiful, and they get to my sense of humor, and she's tough. Medicine was short. So then we see, now this is interesting. Again, she still give me more Patricia. At least she knows how to put on a show.
Yeah.
And thank you for that person that tweeted out, where's the show of Patricia auditioning butlers? Thank you, reality guys.
Search for the next butler.
Y'all tag Bravo or Whitney or Patricia on that one. That's what we all need.
Butlery.
Southern Butlery. I miss the old theme song. I wish they played the whole thing.
I know.
It's easy. As the birds and the bees and the 1, 2, 3.
But yes, she's talking.
Naomi's calling Pat, and she's like, I want to have a fresh start party. Not sure that's a genre.
I don't know.
Sounds like I'm just back from rehab party.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Something like that.
Well, haven't you had a party with exes that you said was a fresh start?
But yes, the party was just involving us two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there was less party and more fucking.
Oh,
Yeah.
You were there just to return their credit card back in their wallet so they never knew it was gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I took some money.
Okay.
My favorite quote from this episode, they're talking about Naomie having problems with Kathryn.
I knew you were going to talk about
and
this.
And y'all, Pat's kind of done.
Not kinda.
She's went back and forth of Kathryn, and
That's true.
And now she's like, she's led an inelegant life because that is the worst thing you can do, according to Pat.
An inelegant life.
An inelegant life. She's pretty correct. I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot of women who are in their 20s who Pat would consider living an elegant life these days.
I don't. Do you feel like
maybe Shep's cousin Marcy?
If Madison didn't do your hair so well, does she live in an elegant life?
It's true. By the way, we're going to talk about this in a second. You know what? I will wait until she comes up, but I can't wait to talk about Shep's cousin Marcy.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Austen, Olivia, Shep, and Taylor, and Bob, Carol, and Alice.
But we should say
have a date.
Patricia said, she finished and said, I wish her the best, but there's no connection there, so
Yes.
no. So meaning she wants nothing to
Washed
do
her
with
hands of her.
Kathryn, and she told Naomie, I wouldn't invite her to your party.
And
Because she said, because you're known by the company you keep.
right. And she should not have invited her, or Kathryn, and Naomi should not have went to Kathryn's party.
I agree with what Olivia said. Like, why go to a party if you're just going to talk shit about someone?
Producers wanted you there.
But the producers wanted there. But also remember, that's classic Naomie.
It is.
She used to go to shit all the time and then just bitch about the
That's
person that
true.
invited. She's done that like 3 or 4 times.
That is true. It was annoying.
That's what Naomie does. That's what drives Craig so crazy. He would be like, if you're gonna go to the party, why do you want to bitch about it? Just have fun.
Yeah. Craig, the truth teller. So
anyway, talk
they're
about
having that date. The last thing, this is just a terrible Charleston foursome. It's like a foursome, like golf. Gosh.
Grandpa Shep made a joke, y'all. It's a foursome joke about golf.
So maybe I should call my cousin Marcy.
You're out of touch,
Okay.
and we don't care.
Okay.
You know what? Before you get into this, we're going to take a commercial, and when we come back,
I can't wait to talk about fucking cousin Marcy.
Marcy.
Okay, just replace Marcy and saying, this is the cousin Oliver of this season.
Yep.
We have jumped the shark. This is
I
Fonzie
don't
on those
care
skis.
about this woman.
Now, she's obviously been brought in as a kind of foil for maybe Patricia didn't want to be on the season that much. There's one other kind of high class woman.
You called this actually last season. You said, and I'm going to paraphrase, but you basically said something of, we were very glad that Thomas Ravenel is off the show because he's a piece of shit. But you said this show was originally going to be called, I think, Southern Gentlemen.
Yes.
So now, what is this show about if it's not about this high upper class system in Charleston?
Enter cousin Marcy.
And there we go. Yes.
Yeah. This is someone who's going to be kind of on Shep's side to represent kind of high, quote unquote, high Southern culture or old South culture.
But listen, they literally had to get the pregnant cousin who can't drink or party or do anything because that's all they could find who would want to show up and be on this show.
I'm kind of here for her. She's not as stodgy as I thought she might be, but it just seems so fucking random that we're talking about Shep's cousin Marcy. And if I was to invent a name of a character who would die in the first 10 minutes of something, it would be cousin Marcy.
Yeah, usually.
It seems such an innocuous. Have you met my cousin Marcy? Mm-hmm. She dies.
First 10 minutes of Elvis just dies because of Marcy.
Sir. Like Marcy from In Peppermint Patty.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So we're going to this.
Do you have a Rainbow Bride cup that says squad goals?
Yes. So maybe I do.
So he does, y'all.
And I love it.
You do love Rainbow Bride.
I'm a big fan of the whole family. Blue Boy, Peach Princess.
You really know all of them, don't you?
Apricot Andrea. No, I don't know their names.
Who's
and Starlight, the big gay horse. And Twink.
Who's the yellow one?
I don't know. I honestly don't know their names. One of them was named Blue Boy because he was doing that Up and Adam, the gym queen.
Oh, wow. And he's gay. Blue Boy
He
is
seems
gay.
real gay.
Oh, he is a twink.
No, there's already a twink. He's a gym queen.
Oh, he's a top.
No.
No, okay. No, yeah.
No, that is a fallacy. Not all gym queens are tops.
Did he get fucked by the grape guy and then feels bad about it?
The grape guy.
Isn't that the mean guy on Strawberry Shortcake? The guy
Lurky.
who isn't. Oh, I'm confusing. Who's the guy who's the grape and he's a mean grape person? We've talked about this before.
I'm not following.
Isn't it on Rainbow Bright? I don't talk about it all.
Okay, I have to move on. God, everything is so scattered. Everything is just so scattered. So Naomi's having a party, and we see Wilson, her gay.
Yes.
I need more. I need more shady, sassy Southern gays.
We had the one, but he pissed off Patricia and he got written off the
Cooper.
show.
Oh,
Cooper,
yes.
y'all. Remember Cooper?
So, y'all, Madison shows up. Olivia shows up. Madison shows up with Venita, Shep with Cousin Marcy.
Cousin Marcy.
Everyone's there. Then they're talking about, Shep's talking about Marcy. How she's like, she's probably got more money than Patricia. She's the only one who can compare to Patricia.
And they're like,
And they're talking about Jupiter Island.
Shep says,
Well, it is my family.
Yeah. The sides of her family. You're grossed out by that. I'm used to it because that's what it's like there.
yeah.
And is Oklahoma like that where they say this because it's only important how far you can trace your name back and what side of the family it is. Mm-hmm. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't approve of it. But
Fix your Mike condom.
sorry. But is that just not done in Oklahoma?
No, where people ask who's your kin, and there's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But we were founded on a totally, again, land run. Literally, people went off on a shotgun and staked your claim. So it's much more this kind of frontier style of, and I see why certain types of political ideologies have taken hold so much in Oklahoma, because it really is like, you do everything by your own bootstraps. Nobody a very individualist state.
Weirdly, South Carolina is like that too, but for different reasons.
Yeah, but for different reasons, yeah.
But when they would say we look like this side of the family because of this, I'd heard all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of my relatives try to say that, they say, blah, this side of the family, the blah, blah, blah side. And I'm like, most of us come from trash. You just admit that.
Yeah.
I don't come from a storied Southern family.
People did that, like, in Oklahoma, or even Texas, people would kind of, like, roll their eyes at them.
Right. But especially this part of South Carolina.
But no, it's a big deal. So I like that you're saying it's a normalized thing.
It's a very normal thing for him to say, we look like this side of our family or we come from this side. So the Roses were probably his father, but the other part of the family goes back much, much further.
Yeah.
And everyone has in South Carolina. You say I'm from this part. There's like 4 types of families: your mother's mother, your father's mother, your father's father, your father's mother, and you follow all those as much as you can. And you
sounds incestuous.
No, I'm saying you relate to.
No, but I get it,
by their surname. You say, that's the Paces. That's the Pace side of the family. That's this.
Is there one side of the family that your parents started to follow and then just said, we're not talking about that side?
Yeah, I'm not going to say which one.
I feel like we all have that one.
Yeah. The further you go up, the more you learn. The more you want to close that book real fast. So that's why I'm like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, y'all, Cousin Marcy, they have a place at Jupiter Island. That's a very exclusive.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, place in Florida, and I guess that's what they're talking about, Jupiter Island Club. And it is a legacy. Like someone has to kind of die before you get a house. But so fucking what? Who cares? Life's too short.
Life's too short.
I think we do find out that Marcy was a party girl who kind of got married
But now she's pregnant, and she's just going to talk about how Shep needs to have kids, and it's going to be a boring plot line.
Now, Did your mouth drop like mine when we heard that Taylor wasn't on birth control? What the fuck?
I was surprised.
So, but she's...
And spoiler alert, if you are interested, so fast about relationships and who's together and not. So fast forward 30 seconds. But apparently sissies have told us, Shep and Taylor, we were wrong. They are still together.
Yeah.
But Kathryn and Caleb are not.
That makes better sense now than what we've seen.
Sense.
But this idea of Taylor, why would you not be on birth control? And it's not that she says, I can't take birth control. She said, I'm not on birth control right now. What? That means you're actively trying to get pregnant?
Either you're actively trying together to get pregnant or you're trying to lock him down.
Right.
One
but
of the two.
And he's kind of intimated that she doesn't want to get married yet. And he definitely doesn't want to get married yet. And he's like, I'm not old enough to start popping out kids. Gosh.
Actually, I know people your age from my hometown that are grandparents.
Right. But it's kind of like, and of course I wrote down, of course he's pulling out every time because he's so terrified of having a child because that would make him old. And
that's what it is, make him old.
Exactly. But it's kind of like, I want to tell her, I don't have a ton. I don't really know her that well. Mm-hmm. I think we've seen people do like her. We haven't seen a lot of her.
She's fine.
She's fine. But at this point, I'm like, wise the fuck up, honey.
I think she'd be fun in real life. On the reality show, she's kind of like...
But it's just like, it just made me go, are you that dumb?
Maybe she's not dumb. Maybe she's taking we don't know her family or where she comes from. Maybe she's taking book from Poodle Boudreaux.
Ooh, possibly.
You get a little pregnant, then you get married.
Get a little pregnant, get a little ring.
It's harder to sign that marriage prenup with you're pregnant with their child.
That is true.
It's going to give you more sway. And then
it's also,
have that baby, send that baby off to boarding school or whatever.
Ooh, haven't you heard of a little thing called boarding school?
You get divorced 3 years later, and then you go live your life and have all this money.
Maybe she's a genius. What's interesting, though, is... it also saves you, if you do get pregnant, it also saves you from having to convince the Rose family that you're the right girl for him to marry.
Yeah.
So maybe she is. Now, I would never want to marry Shep, unfortunately.
So maybe as in Pippin, she's on the right track.
Yeah. I do believe that Shep has one of the ugliest penises. It's not one of the smallest penises, but it is ugly.
I don't think it's attractive. Maybe we're wrong.
I just have this
Maybe
feeling.
we're wrong.
Maybe. It's just all like carbunkled and like probably just.
It'd be like if a dick had rheumatoid arthritis.
Or the fact he has had so many horrific STDs.
Yes.
That
it's been chipped away.
Yeah.
Chipped away.
Maybe that's why he's shooting blanks, because
maybe
something of herpes sterilized him a long time ago. Or syphilis has just sterilized him.
Possibly. You know what? I saw, and I looked, it's legit. I saw like Instagram suggested, and this guy actually, who's like 27 years old, because of what's happened with Roe v. Wade in our country, he went and got a vasectomy. He said, because if women can't protect themselves, I'm going to protect the women that I'm with. And I can get a reverse vasectomy. I was kind of blown away by that.
And I'm not saying it's wonderful that it's like wonderful, everyone go get a vasectomy. But I'm like, wow, what a show of support.
What a support. Which, by the way, if you want to show a show of support, y'all, go to our charity this month in the Sissy Squad is the Bridget Alliance, which helps women that are seeking an abortion. It's particularly in other states,
especially 15 weeks around that
helps
time.
Their travel expenses. We also, because this means a lot to Jake and I, and also I think it's a new thing. You can do a fundraiser on Instagram. So if you're not in the Facebook group, you go to our Instagram group. You can give.
Just go to our Instagram. We don't have an Instagram group.
Both of those go direct. The Facebook and the Instagram, it goes directly to the charity. It's not a check to us that we send. It just goes right to them. So anyway, you can go to our socials or the Facebook group. Look at the post.
Speaking of reproduction.
Speaking of, yes.
Yes.
Anyway, that just reminded me of that.
Thank you for that. So there's this there's this time when, and basically cousin Marcy's like, well, it's never too late to have kids. But they're talking about that. Marcy says, I was like an old maid. And Olivia and Taylor are talking about, yeah, people are like saying, when are you going to pop out a baby? Your eggs are old at 20. That is true in the Deep South.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're especially in Charleston. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why aren't you having kids yet?
And Craig, again, all the pressure's on the women. She's putting some, but Craig is, I think, our age. Isn't he, or old?
You're talking about
Or Shep.
Shep.
How old is Shep?
Shep is over 40.
Yeah,
Or 40, I believe.
How old is Shep Rose?
So Austen, why is Austen even talking to Madison? I guess
He's 42.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Austen's talking to Madison, and Madison is kind of like shading him about Naomie and giving him a hard time. Wait, is this Craig I'm talking about? Let's see.
Yeah. Well, it's weird that. So they show up at this party, and the whole time, I know he's processing, but it is weird that Craig the whole time is just like, oh my God, the last time I was here, I had just waxed my butthole, and it was so smooth.
I remember those snack trays.
Yeah, remember that snack trays? And then I moved out in the middle of the night. Wow. And I'm just going, I know you have that in your inside voice.
Don't say it.
I just would never say that on my outside voice.
Well, I think Craig has very little control of that.
But there also, if you think
It makes him endearing to me a little bit.
it does.
Yeah.
It makes, if you look back or look later to his conversation with Naomie, there is this kind of way that like, so at first I was like, that's really weird. But then I went, wait, is Craig kind of situating himself to be, I'm going to have radical honesty with Naomie and be radically honest about this because that's the only way I can kind of get through this.
I think that's partially it.
And I think that's it.
Yeah.
And it's very admiring that a man, a straight cis man, can be that vulnerable.
He's been that way for about the last 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the only one. Now, does he act like a child?
Yes.
And but at least he's having emotions, unlike Shep, who it's only anger and resentment.
And
towards
Austen,
people.
who's only confusion and then excited because someone threw a ball and he has to go fetch it.
Exactly. So there, but
But that is where he's, yes, Madison is kind of like,
she's kind of shading him. She's like, and then I was like, and they're both giving him a hard time because they're both teaming up on Craig again. And I know that's what they did a lot in their relationship.
yeah.
Which is one of the reasons that, besides how Austen was kind of bullied in a way by Madison during their relationship, the reason why Craig doesn't like Madison is because of how she probably treated him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's weird because Craig will hold a grudge with the way someone treats his friend, but Austen won't. He'll just run back. It did make me laugh when Madison said, both of you are wearing matching shirts. You really need to work this out. Like, you need to get over this.
She's entertaining.
She's
I'll give her
entertaining.
that.
I will say before that, I was very entertained when Craig was talking to Naomie, and he's like drinking a cup, and she's like, Craig, you shouldn't chew ice. Not a lot of people like it when you chew ice. It's not attractive.
And at one point, he's like, I'll do whatever I want to. And
it's weird how it reminded
she
you
gets
of,
right back into it.
that's old school Naomie and Craig. And then you see Craig is just like, no,
Yes.
I'm not falling
Good
into that
for
pattern.
you.
It's not interesting seeing everybody talk about Naomie and Craig like it's old, but it is interesting seeing the two of them work this out.
And it's weird watching her say, so, do you want your I told you so moment? You were right. And like, what do you think her intentions are behind things like that?
I think it's a little bit, she's going back, the old pattern that they had before.
Right.
Was,
I have an idea, but I want to know
I'm
what
going to
you say.
like, it's like, I'm going to slap you, you're going to slap me, and then we're going to look at each other hot and heavy and then make out and
Right.
fuck.
Exactly.
So like that has been the dynamic of their relationship. And then eventually, Naomie realized, I have to slap Craig like 20 times before I get turned on, or 200 times before I get turned on.
Right.
Whereas like a year ago, it was like one slap did it for me.
Right.
Now I'm exhausted because I'm literally slapping him before I can feel something in this.
Yes. But I'm saying, what do you think her motivation is by saying?
So I think the motivation is old patterns. Like that's what she's going.
But what about your "I told you so" moment? Like when she's like, "You were right." What do you think? What do you think is by giving him that validation?
I think she thought he would come back at her and they would fight and then
yes.
slap each other and then that turned on and then they fuck again.
And they want to fuck again.
Yeah.
She wants to keep fucking him.
And Craig was just he didn't say I told you.
I know.
He just kind of said
No, I was. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
She is doing exactly what she used to do, using old patterns of being kind of overly critical for no reason, seemingly,
Yeah.
and then throwing him a bone.
Yeah.
And
which is interesting when you look at it. If she thought about it, she got out of the relationship with Craig and the roles reversed and she ended up getting with someone who was
very overly critical of her.
Yeah. So she knows what it feels like now.
Yep. So the only thing we want to talk about.
Let's talk about the ladies' waiting
this
room
bathroom fight.
Boy.
I still don't really know what happened here.
So Olivia, but they were talking about Naomie. Were talking about the party.
It is Venita.
I forget her name.
Madison 2.
Oh, Madison 2. Yes, dark-haired
2,
Madison.
and someone else.
Madison
is
2.
it Leva? Who was it?
It was Venita, Madison. Patricia was there.
I think she left though.
But Leva, I think, was there.
I think it was Leva.
Yeah, Leva was there. And then Naomie and Olivia.
Yes.
And so Olivia's just saying, she's like, I think with the party, Kathryn was frustrated with what you said on Twitter. And then Olivia said, but I don't know why you went because I heard you say, remember we had the conversation. And again, we see a flashback, not how it was edited. Really kind of made Kathryn look terrible and made Naomie look like this innocent,
right.
But it wasn't. Naomie was there fucking bad talking Kathryn and saying like, I don't know why I'm here. Like literally talking trash about her.
Right.
And Olivia's saying, so I didn't know why you came there. So the way I looked at it, Naomie brought up the party.
Yes.
So it's not like Olivia walked in and said, hey, I want to talk to you about this.
Right.
Naomie brought it up. Olivia's just giving her account.
They're shit talking the party right when Olivia comes up.
So Olivia kind of gives her account, but then Venita goes like, what's she doing?
Who are you?
Who are you?
No.
Hello, irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
What did I say?
Did irrelevant or something like that. I did the same thing. For some reason I pronounced that word incorrectly.
Irrelevant. Hello, irrelevant.
It does feel a little bit like, who are you, irrelevant?
Y'all Love After Lockup's coming back at the end of the month.
I will say this is one of the worst things you can do to someone who's kind of new to a group, just by saying, "Who are you?"
I'm kind of glad Venita realized that
She did.
and apologized.
I'm glad. And it was such a great moment because we rarely see that in reality television.
Yeah, and so Olivia said, you need to calm down. Y'all, I'm just going to tell you as a rule, just from family and friends, don't tell a black woman to calm down, only because they've been told that their entire lives.
Yep.
So you could tell that triggered Venita. She said, don't tell me that. But then, see, this is where I agree with you. I'm sorry. I just moved and I
You
kind
just
of
touched me.
Touched your
Gross.
leg.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Gross. Stop it.
What do we do with this as a show? When you're a show of mostly white people, another person of color, Leva, is married to a black man and has a black child. She is not white as well. But what do you do when you're trying to, like you said, they're having a conversation and then Venita says, yeah, you can't tell me to calm down because Kathryn was racist and I showed up at that party and felt welcome.
Right.
Conversation's done.
There is nothing to do.
How do you, as a white person, I can say, okay, because anything I say would feel like
you're done.
Would make me seem like I was not being an anti-racist. I was being insensitive.
And then Olivia just said, okay, I'm going to bounce. And they're like, what do you, of course you're going to.
And Venita's like, oh, you're leaving the conversation. And I'm like,
what are you going to say?
You brought in yourself about Kathryn, that racial stuff that had nothing to do with Naomie and Kathryn.
Or also Olivia talking about, and what she's talking about, the conversation they were having about the Instagram thing had something about Kathryn trying to ruin Cameron's marriage. Had nothing to do. So this is all stuff from 2 seasons ago that isn't resolved, and we're bringing in new cast members to talk about it who weren't even involved.
Again, who aren't part. So yes, Venita's talking about it, but I'm like, honey, you weren't literally there. Like, Naomie and Kathryn never been the best of friends.
No.
But they have a history of knowing each other and being in this circle for years.
Currency.
And Venita doesn't have the emotional currency in this.
And it's made even worse.
Neither does Leva.
No.
Madison, too, has more emotional currency.
I would agree.
And she still doesn't have a lot, but she knows them more. Now, somebody could go and say, well, Olivia doesn't know them at all either. That's true. But Olivia had this conversation, but Naomie dumped on Olivia at this party about Kathryn. And so she was giving, I thought, a better outsider. Like if we had seen a flashback of Naomie or of Kathryn having like a hard conversation with Venita at the party, but we never saw that. Venita talked to Chleb. We never saw Venita talk to Kathryn. It's just unrelatable.
It basically said, if you defend, basically what those 3 women at that bench were sitting is, if you said anything pro Kathryn, you're immediately racist.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
That's what it felt like.
And that's a really bad place to be in for a show, because, and I
just want, if we need to explore this more as a show, then don't be afraid of it and explore the racism of Kathryn more.
But I thought we did that.
But so that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. Like, let's either
or keep going, or if they still thought she was racist, fire her.
Or like, you know what I would love?
They fired Jenny. They fired
Who's Jenny?
Jenny from Salt Lake City.
Oh, yeah. Jenny from Salt Lake City.
But it's like, I don't understand why she wasn't fired.
I agree.
So if we're going
I think she should have been.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So if we're going to keep doing this, if we're going to keep letting it, we already did it in one season where she was talked to by so many other cast members. If we still don't think she's repentant for her actions, or if she still doesn't, we don't believe that. I don't know if I believe that. If that's true, are we still going to continue to bring it up?
Like,
with cast members who have nothing to do with it.
And it's clear Kathryn has no black friends that are willing, if she does, that are willing to be on the show.
Yeah.
Because clearly her and Venita aren't friends at all.
No.
But it seems like Venita and Chleb know one another. So couldn't we even have I would appreciate a conversation where Venita sits down with Chleb and says, how can you be with her? How does that work for you? At least that is like a somewhat Caleb's invested in Kathryn.
Right. No, I think that would be a fair conversation.
I feel like it's just a missed opportunity.
I agree.
Anyway,
Venita does apologize because she I think it's a hair trigger for her because she's still very offended.
And that's...
Which makes sense.
I actually really understand that. She should be offended. Like, that's really hurtful. And I don't think we're saying that Venita can't have her feelings about that. We're just saying from a reality show perspective, there's just not the emotional currency. And
why do you care, Venita? Disengage.
Like, it makes me feel the only reason you quote care is because
you're on the show,
being paid to be the social police.
That's why it feels inauthentic.
And whereas she was really friends, it would be, I guess, more riveting to watch. But also, again, it's just, y'all, don't be friends with racist people,
right?
Like, full stop.
I don't think that is the issue at all. They are definitely not friends. She has been contracted to be on this show and form this very inauthentic relationship with this person she doesn't like.
I mean, she agreed to do it, but also I feel for her because, God, you've got to be like the social justice warrior on this show.
She's got the shit into the stick because
really?
she has to do this, and I would have told her definitely not to if I was her friend. Because y'all, they don't get paid that much. I guess she's getting exposure for her influencer stuff, but I don't know.
It just, again, it's like people of color are not here to educate us on
No,
this. And that's
but
what it feels like.
It
they're
feels like
doing.
that. It felt like that last season.
Yeah.
and it feels like this season. Unfortunately,
it's kind of hard to watch. It's
ding ding ding. This is where I arrived at.
no, well, I mean, there's other things that are hard to watch, but yeah. So anyway, so that's that. But then we kind of get this. I thought we get this Leva and Naomie are talking.
Get over it.
And Leva's like, I thought you were going to get back together. And then Austen does this weird thing. Like, he's like, oh, what are you talking about? Can I come down and sit? Is it weird if I sit in the middle? Can I sit? And I'm just like,
I want to scream at Leva. Graduate high school already.
Again, I think because this woman has kids.
2 kids.
She's got kids in several restaurants that she's running and that probably suffered a lot in the middle of the pandemic. So bitch is like, yeah, I need a paycheck.
I guess. But say something more interesting.
Yeah.
Than what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how she is. I think she'll probably be more interesting on her show.
I'm not watching that show.
No, I don't care about shows like that. But
so anyway, Craig comes over and they're talking about how many. It's like, so you only told us you slept with like Naomie one time, and he's like, no, I told you it was twice.
Yeah.
Conversation over.
Austen's like,
and he's like, but that's not what you did.
No, and then Austen says right in front of Naomie, he's like, well, this is before Craig. He's like, the way Austen, basically before Craig came over, Austen says the way Craig describes it is that, like, he said, yeah, she finally realized I was right. And then she came calling, like, kind of scrambling back into me, and basically, like, she realized she kind of threw everything away. And also, he described you as really clingy.
He's just trying to do character assassination on someone he considers his friend.
If Craig did say this, we haven't seen it.
But this is the ultimate bro code violation.
But it's typical Austen.
It's so awful, though.
It's what and so Craig walks up and he's like, this is awkward. And then that's where he and Naomie talk. And Craig, again, this is why I do, either Craig's a great liar, but historically, Craig hasn't shown himself to be a liar. Austen has.
Yes.
And Craig said to Naomie, why is this weird? And that's where Naomie's like, she calls it, like, she even basically says, to paraphrase, she says, well, I basically knew Austen was full of shit and was trying to rile me up.
Right.
So it's like everybody knows Austen's
garbage.
Just full of shit. And she said, it was so clear that he was trying to hurt me. And Craig she repeated what he said, and Craig said, that's actually a mean thing to say. And he said, I didn't say any of that. And we know, Craig said, I haven't talked to Austen about this at all. And basically, Craig kind of said, I hope this maybe puts a button in things, where he said, look, we had an amazing experience with me. I wish you knew me today.
That's
and he
a great
joke.
statement.
He said, I show up to the airport on time.
He said, I wish you would have known the me I am today back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit like closure for them.
I don't think it is.
Because she said a line in her testimonial, like, even though I don't think she's over it, that kind of alluded that, like, it was just that one time thing and now we're moving past it. I hope that's true. I don't know.
They're gonna get more rumor mongers in here, and Paige is gonna finally hear about it, and she's gonna get irritated finally.
I just hope it's not building up. Again, Paige said, I talked to Naomie a lot. They didn't show any of that at the party.
They did not.
Probably they didn't show it at the party because there was no drama in it, because Paige doesn't want to have drama about it.
Right. No, it's just
they want to kind of make this cat fight of two women, and I don't think Naomie and Paige are ever going to do that.
No, and I'm just, it is ridiculous that we are trying to make, when the two people who are at the center of this really seem to be the two biggest adults, that y'all, we can't mind drama from this type of dryness.
No.
It's just there being honesty. Y'all, when drama only lives in secret. Drama only gets by with secrets.
Yeah.
And if they're not being secretive, the drama is only in everyone else talking about it, which is tedious.
It's why Poodle has 3 phones. Lots of drama.
Just got a 4th.
Um,
I'm like Ty. Hold on, there's some ramen on the stove.
Hold on. All right, everybody. That's the show. That's Southern Charm. We're going to be talking. It actually will be. We're still going to do a Southern Charm recap next week, but we will be talking about next week's episode and kind of this season. That'll be the episode we talk about with Ronnie.
Yes.
Yeah, because that'll be like 3 days before our Austen show.
Yes.
Again, y'all, 90 Day Fiancé this Sunday. We will not be putting it out on our regular scheduled programming because this episode of 90 Day Fiancé that's coming out on July 3rd, we will be recapping part 1
Dallas and Austen
on our
shows.
Dallas show and part 2 on our Austen show.
Yep.
And then San Diego is our 10 million download show.
As well as the following weeks, which is, I believe, this week for 90 Day Fiancé for our live shows. This week will be season 9, episode 12, part 1 in Dallas. Season 9, episode 12, part 2 in Austin. Then season 9, episode 13, part 1 in San Diego, and then part 2 we'll be doing in Denver.
Yes. So there you go. Oh yeah, because it changed because we're not doing Salt Lake City now. So there you go. Salt Lake City maybe next time. So or maybe Vegas. We can't sing Liza. We can't get into this, y'all. We'll see you next time.
And remember, next time, y'all come back now.
You hear? I forgot it again.
I know.
Well, now it's time to say goodbye to Poodle and to Matt. And they would like to thank you folks for listening to their chat. You're all invited back next week, but please, before we're through, just mosey down to iTunes and leave us a review.
Poodle, you and reviews, you're shameless.
That's what they call me in college.
Y'all come back now, you hear?